Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. How you doing?
It's over. Call off the Final Four. Gonzaga is now a slam dunk to win it all. I was wrong. You were right. Forget about it.
Steph Curry logo 3 guarantee. Jenny, Jenny, I know you live a little further out, but did you hear that thud last night? Did you hear that thud?
Was that what it was?
That was the clip from Florida 16-point lead. And boom, crashed back down to earth.
Wait, you mean the Clippers who are without 4 of their top 6 players?
Hold on.
How could you do that? You were so threatened by the Clippers.
Skip. Hold on. How many players?
We got to start the show. Stop it. Nobody cares about the Clippers except you because you're scared of them.
You don't care about them?
I care. Yeah, they're coming. Just wait until Rondo gets healthy.
A little bit.
He hurt again.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a lot of injuries there. And we will address, of course, the NCAA tournament. Congrats to the Zags. Congrats to UCLA. We will get to all those games, but I've got some drama to break down for you guys, and I want to explain the whole situation here. Yesterday, comedian and regular contributor on this show, Michael Rapaport, posted some screen grabs and a back-and-forth conversation between him and Kevin Durant that began earlier this season. KD took issue with Rapaport being critical of his post-game interview style and DM the actor with some extremely harsh language and even physical threats while defending himself. After Rapaport shared the post, Durant apologized, saying, quote, "My bad," on social media. There's a lot here. I was trying to follow this yesterday. Shannon, what is your reaction to all going on here?
Skip, I'm really disappointed in both guys that they both allowed it to escalate to this situation. I'm disappointed in Kevin Durant because Kevin Durant can't get caught up in this situation. I understand Kevin Durant is extremely sensitive. And Skip, a lot of times, things that I say on the show, I'll repost to my feed. And he'll always leave a comment. He'll always respond. But Skip, I'm not going back and forth with Kevin Durant. I got kids damn near old as Kevin Durant. I don't argue with my own kids. I don't debate with my own kids. I'd be damned if I'm going to debate with someone else's. So Kevin Durant doesn't like all the things that I say. When I say things good, he has no problem with that. But my job is just not to heap praise. Skip, you've even said it before. Wow, you're really critical of LeBron in that situation. I'm surprised. If you're wrong, you're wrong. You're right, you're right. But Kevin, you can't let someone's, because they say you're a snake or they said you did this and you shouldn't have done that, react in this manner.
Yep.
You can't do it, KD. Skip, and I know you tell me all the time, Shannon, you got to stop responding. But I cannot in good conscience, Skip, not respond to some of my followers because I asked them to get up every morning at 6:30 and tune into you and I. I asked them to subscribe to my podcast. I asked them to sometimes go possibly buy some of the products that I'm pitching. So I cannot think that I should be above them, that I'm beyond reproach, that they can't ask me a question. Now, I don't always respond, but a lot of times I do respond. But I'm not going to respond the way Kevin Durant responded with all the vitriol and the hatred that he displays towards Michael Rapaport. Mike's a good friend of mine. Now, Skip, Mike and I go back and forth. But Mike and I have that type of relationship where we can go back and forth. I don't know if Mike and KD have that type of relationship that they can go back and forth. And even in a situation like that, the type of relationship that Mike and I have, we can't go back and forth like that. I'm just disappointed in Mike that Mike revealed the DMs because I'm a firm believer, Skip, that things that are said in the DMs should be left there. Skip, a lot of people that I get to come on my podcast, you know how I reach out to them? Through the DM, on Twitter and social media. Rick Ross, Ken Griffey Jr., a lot of the people that I've had on my show, that's how I get in touch with them. I do respond occasionally to some athlete that's currently playing in the DM. I would never reveal what was discussed between me and said individual, no matter how upset they may get at me. KD, you can't do this. I'm not so sure that Adam Silver is not going to step in and intervene and have a conversation and maybe even fine Kevin Durant for some of the things that he said. But Mike, just let it go. You know how he's going to respond to you. Guys, just stop following each other. KD, ask your friends not to send you anything that someone has said negative about you. Because right now, you're not in a place where you can handle criticism, especially negative criticism, that you believe goes beyond your skill set. What you should have done is said, guy, look here, man, hey, you got your opinion. I'm just trying to get healthy so I can get back on the court so I can help my team win a championship. All that other stuff y'all talking has no bearing on how good or how great I might think I am. So I'm not going to get into the fray with you guys going back and forth. This is the way I'm going to handle it. But you don't have to threaten the guy. Man, that's Michael Rapaport. Come on, he's a comedian. Yeah, Skipper, you know how some comedians, they say things to get you riled up. We've all been to comedy shows. And they pick on the biggest guy. Sometimes they pick on, now you ain't going to do nothing. Come on, KD. And this is the way you respond to a guy? Mike, I'm just disappointed. And like I said, Mike is a contributor to the show. He comes on the show a lot. And he and I, we go back and forth. You know, he's a Knicks fan, the Giants, and I'm a Bron. And so we go back and forth, Skip. But this got out of pocket. KD out of pocket for what he said. That was well beyond what you know, calling you say you can't win and what Mike said. KD was out of pocket for this. Leave the man's wife out of it. Don't mention anything about the man's wife. Kids, KD, you know, money, wife, kids, that's always off limits. Leave that alone. So I'm disappointed with both guys because even though what was said by Kevin Durant was absolutely 1,000% wrong, I still don't believe Michael should have shared that with the public. Address that with KD. Because, Skip, I had a situation this summer that I said something, Jalen Ramsey responded. You know what I did, Skip? I reached out to him in a DM. Let's have a conversation. We had a conversation. We squashed it. Boom. That's how I believe you can, men, Skip, educated, thoughtful, considerate men that have enough respect for one another. I believe that's the way you should handle a situation. This This took a left turn, and it shouldn't have.
Yep. Okay, to your point, I have had many, many, many conversations with athletes and coaches and executives who have had issues with me.
Right.
And I am game to have them come sit here or to talk on the phone or whatever we need to do to smooth it over. But it might not get smooth, but we might have a meeting of the minds, but at least we'll know where each other really stands.
It don't change what you say, but you just want them to know where you're coming from.
Okay. So this is tricky for me because Kevin Durant, as you know, has been my favorite player of this era since he was at the University of Texas. And I have defended him as a basketball player many, many times on this show and the previous show I was on. But much of his behavior on social media, I cannot and will not even remotely defend.
Well, it's indefensible.
It is indefensible. I'm also friends, as you are, with Michael Rapaport. And I must admit, I do like him. And I must admit, in the end, after I heard his side of this last night, I lean slightly toward Michael in this conflict. Maybe I'm less disappointed in Michael than I am in Kevin.
KD.
But I'm with you. When I first saw that Michael had gone public with private messages, it was troubling to me because I wouldn't go there until I heard Michael's side of it. So his side is that he and Kevin became very friendly via social media and went back and forth for a long time. So he thought he had a kind of a funny, ha-ha, friendly relationship with Kevin. Until that fateful moment, it was back around Christmas after the opener of the Golden State Warriors. It was Brooklyn against Golden State.
Right.
And the fateful TV interview that we all remember, Charles Barkley trying to ask Kevin a live on television question. Right. And it wasn't a great question, but obviously Kevin should have just gone along with it and played along and given his cliched answer and gone to the locker room.
Correct.
But he gave a one-word answer because he did not love the question.
Right.
Neither did I.
He gave all one-word answers.
It was all. And it was awkward, and he's had his issues with Charles.
Correct.
LeBron has had his issues with Charles. Right. I've had many, many issues with Charles. So I didn't have a lot of sympathy for Charles at that point. But Michael then went public with I guess it was a DM Instagram or tweet, but he criticized, just gently criticized Kevin for the one-word answer and basically said, if you don't want to do the interview, just don't do the interview.
Correct.
Okay. And that started it. And here it went. And according to Michael's side, I did not get Kevin's side because I don't think I would have been capable of getting Kevin's side last night. But Michael said that Kevin went crazy over that and that Michael tried, this is via DMs, tried to de-escalate it. And Kevin wouldn't de-escalate. And sat for a couple of days and simmered, and then it escalated again. And Michael said, I tried a second time to de-escalate the situation and try to make it funny, ha-ha, let it go type stuff.
Right.
And Kevin would not let it be.
Right.
Well, this has gone on now for about 4 months.
Correct.
And it got worse and worse, according to Michael. And Michael grew up in the streets of New York City, so if you push him too far, he's going to push back also.
Right.
So I assume he started to push back here and there at personal shots that Kevin was taking, until finally he said yesterday morning Kevin started it up again. Remember, this is 4 months old now.
Correct.
And once Kevin started up again, to Michael's point, it got so vile to the point of being evil in Michael's eyes.
Right.
It got so personal because the wife was introduced into the conversation, Michael's wife. And ultimately, it got so threatening to Michael that he finally said, okay, watch this. And he went public with the whole thread of a lot of what Kevin has said over the last 4 months to him. Again, I don't love it, but I get it. If you're so threatened, because it was all about, I'm going to kick your, you know what, I'm going to spit in your face. Whenever I see you, I'm going to, and it got to the point of, I'm going to come and find you and spit in your face. Well, that's when Michael, I think, felt so threatened that he said, okay, I have to draw a line in the sand, and the only way I know to draw the line right now is to go public.
Well, my thing is, Skip, the way I would draw a line says, KD, I think you stepped over the line.
Yep.
I just think the thing now is that you and I should not have any further communication.
Well, obviously.
Because clearly, you know, you went somewhere that I didn't expect us to go, so I'm going to be done with it. Let's just leave this as it is right here. Moving forward, hey, you're a player, I do what I do, but we don't need to have any form of communication.
Okay.
Skip, I don't get all involved in that. You're going to do this. That ain't going to do nothing.
Okay. Michael viewed it as craziness on Kevin's part. Well, what do we know about Kevin Durant? What have I called him from the start? The thinnest skinned superstar I have ever closely observed.
Right.
And here is more proof positive that once he goes, it doesn't matter who you are. It can be a teenager on Twitter.
Right.
He will engage with you, and he will take it out on you. And it goes all the way back to, I used to defend him back on the old show on ESPN because he was my favorite player, and Russell Westbrook was taking more shots on a nightly basis than Kevin Durant. We're going back to 2011, 2012 in Oklahoma City. And one night, out of the blue, Kevin calls over the reporter from the Oklahoman and just fills his notebook with shots at me about, I don't know, you know what, about basketball. Kevin, I'm defending you against little Russell, who finally ran you out of town. You finally decided I can't win with him because he's my primary decision maker. He gets to decide every time, my turn or your turn. Well, okay, so I still think I was right about that. But then the final irony, as we've talked about, is that Kevin got voted the MVP of the NBA.
2014.
And the next year at the All-Star game, the gathered, assembled media from all around the world are in the audience. He's taking questions, and he tells all of them, you guys don't know SH about basketball. They just voted you the MVP, so they must have been wrong about you, right?
Because they remember, Skip, and then, well, maybe it was, like, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago, 2 years ago, he said, all you guys are LeBron fanboys. He talked about the media. The very media that voted him MVP are LeBron. So what? So when they voted you MVP, what were they then? Okay, I got it. When it comes to social media, to me, Kevin's got a loose screw up there. It just goes haywire where he can't control himself. He KD, Skip.
And what is my constant rant? I always say, I call him Kevin Durant, as in he do rant on social media. He will just rant and rant and rant at any and everybody. And I say, this is Kevin freaking Durant.
Yes.
This is, to me, the best player on the planet. You think it's LeBron, I think it's KD. Isn't this beneath him? He is so gifted, so great. He's got a regular season MVP. He's got back-to-back finals MVPs. He is so above all of the above, right?
He should be.
He should be. What are you doing? Well, he did back off last night and apologize, sort of, to Michael Rapaport. But now we're to this whole notion of what he said was private, to your point. It was direct message just to Michael, and it was made public. Once upon a time, there was an owner of the Clippers named Donald Sterling, and he made some private comments that were taped and made public that were racist. And he lost his team over those comments.
Correct.
Is it similar situation? It's a similar dynamic in that Michael decided to out Kevin, so to speak, right? Okay, the NBA is going to have to take some action here because you cannot speak, quote unquote, publicly like this, and the comments became public. It's just such a bad look for one of these superstars of this league.
Well, Skip, I think maybe it's frustration. Kevin Durant's been out for like 7 weeks. And it seems like he can't catch a break. Skip, remember he tore his Achilles and then the pandemic happened. It didn't come back. And so all of that's compounded like, well, here I am back again. The team is playing really well without me. Kevin Durant is not used to a team playing so well without him because Oklahoma City, Skip, if he was out, they would, they couldn't do what they're doing in Brooklyn. So maybe it's frustration.
Maybe it is.
But KD, you can't respond in this manner, even if you think someone's taking a personal shot at you. I get it. It gets hard sometimes when people constantly take personal shots. But I promise you, bro, I would never take a personal shot at you. All I'm saying is your basketball play. And I'm comparing you to LeBron. Skip, they didn't say, well, Magic and Bird got the same level of criticism because people thought they were really on. And if most people think KD and LeBron is on the same level, I just broached the question, why did LeBron get so much criticism when he left as opposed to Kevin Durant? He took offense to that. What? I mean, what type of question is that, KD? I asked Jamal Crawford. I said, I want to hear from a basketball player. I understand the fans. I understand why some of them got upset. But he take offense to seemingly everything that someone says. I think that he thinks. He looks at it like, Skip, he should be above reproach. And, bro, you're never going to be above reproach. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how good you are. It would have been very interesting to see, Skip, had Michael Jordan played in a social media era and he had a bad game or a bad series or something, people found a way to criticize what would have been said. How would he have responded? We would never know because Michael doesn't have social media now, and it wasn't available back then. But, KD, you can't, because here's the thing, Skip, anytime you write something down, it's there. How many people have lost their jobs because of email, Skip? How many people have lost their job because of text messages and voice messages? KD, why would you do that? Now, if you want to say that to that man's face, it's going to be he said, he said. But you put it down, it's documented.
It's documented.
And I don't know, Skip, I don't know anybody. And I got some good friends. But the way they were talking to each other, I ain't got no friend talking to me like that.
You got that right.
Me and Bucky been friends for 33 years. Me and Keith Burns been friends for damn near 30 years. We don't talk to each other like that. We besties. You can't talk to somebody like the way KD and Mike was talking. That ain't no friendship. Where they do that at?
I don't know. We're talking about the same Kevin Durant who hid behind a burner account to take shots or to defend himself, right? Now, to me, I'm sorry, I can't defend that because that's a character flaw. You're Kevin Durant.
You want to say something, but you don't have the chutzpah enough to stand. Hey, send it from your account. Don't hide. Don't throw a rocket. That wasn't me. It is you. And then he had Skip. The flaw was not only did he have it, he told you he had it. That might have been a slip up because I don't think he meant for that to come out. Yeah, I got burner accounts. You be flaming people from a burner account? KD, you better than this, bro. You too good of a player. Your mom did too good of a job raising you and your brother for you to behave like this. I get it. Bro,
he stooped to tell the teenager who was taking a shot at him, clean your dorm room, right? And I'm like, Kevin, why would you care about him?
Skip.
No offense to him, but it just doesn't matter what he said.
And I get it. You get frustrated and people feel like they can take shots at you. And sometimes, I mean, hey, but in a situation like this, I don't, like I said, you talked to Mike, I didn't talk to Mike. I don't know what Mike possibly could have said other than about the interview, because I did read that aspect of it. And that it got so, it went so far left, and it went so far left so quickly. It's just that, KD, you're just too good. I just believe you were raised too well. And I know it gets frustrating when people, but you didn't sign up for this. You're right. And I know people say, well, no, you didn't. You signed up to play basketball and to be great at it. But people will take shots because social media has given everybody, not everybody is an analyst. Skip, everybody is a pundit. Everybody has a debate because, like I said, I have access to you. I can just follow your account and just keep barraging you. Sometimes people just troll, try to get you to respond, try to get you to lose your job.
Yep. Okay.
Come on, KD, bro, you better than this.
So in the end, Michael Rapaport says, yeah, I take shots. He takes a lot of shots on social media.
Right.
But he said, I never get personal.
Right.
Even in his stand-up comedy routines, he can be something of an insult comic, as you talked about. But he said, I don't take personal shots at people.
No.
There's a line that he didn't cross, he felt, back to Kevin. It never escalated on his part to this level.
Right.
So it's just, I cannot defend Kevin in any way, shape, or form. And remember, Kobe got fined for a homophobic slur directed at a referee. Rondo fined for homophobic slur directed at a referee.
Leonard Myers got fined and got released. Okay. Like that,
but that was public, and he knew that was going out into the public consciousness, right? He was speaking to a public forum.
Right.
Okay. But in this case, whether Kevin thought it was public or private, he's just going to have to get fined because the NBA cannot stand for this.
Yeah, KD, don't be that comfortable that you would do something like this.
Yeah.
Put your reputation on the line because now people see you in a different light. Remember, Skip, I told you, when you comfortable, how you speak.
You know what? It did show me a sign of Kevin. I didn't even know that was there.
Right.
And it's just disturbing to me.
Look, you could dislike somebody, Skip, but don't bring somebody kids. Don't bring somebody wife into the fray. The man's, Michael Rapaport's wife, should have never been a subject, a topic of conversation. No. Because it never got there. Nobody was talking about your girlfriend or your this. So leave that alone, KD. People get really, really protective over their kids, over their family, their wife, significant other. Yeah. So KD, I'm disappointed in KD with this, and I'm disappointed with Mike for revealing with this. I wish none of this would have ever happened. But it happened. We can't go back in time. I just wish KD would have reacted differently and Michael would not have revealed this.
I'm not sure where this goes next. I hope the two have a conversation. And, we are all friends with Mike. He comes on the show a lot. So obviously it went too far in his eyes, and I hope they can figure this thing out. Because on social media, let's be honest, it's never the answer in figuring out a situation. Gonzaga continued its perfect season yesterday, steamrolling USC with a wire-to-wire 85-66 victory in the Elite Eight last night. Drew Timme scored 23 points, Jalen Suggs added 18, and the Bulldogs are set to return to the Final Four for the first time in 4 seasons as they look for their first ever national championship. And meanwhile, UCLA continued its Cinderella run this March, upsetting top seed Michigan 51-49 in their Elite Eight matchup last night. The Bruins became the first 11 seed to advance to the Final Four since VCU in 2011. UCLA and Gonzaga will face off on Saturday night. So, Shannon, what shot do you give the Bruins against your Zags right now? That's your team.
Well, anything's possible. Skip, everybody remembers when the NC State beat the Houston Cougars. Nobody thought that could happen.
No shot clock.
We remember also when Villanova did what they did to Georgetown Hoyas.
No shot clock.
Nobody thought that could happen. But, Skip, it's a basketball game. And in March Madness, we've seen anything can happen. But I think there's a very, very small chance what you think will happen is going to happen. You saw what happened when Gonzaga, when their players play well. They finally put it together, and they blew USC, was never even close. They've only spent, 30 seconds in which they haven't had a double-digit lead at some point in the second half. Oklahoma, 9. That's the closest somebody's gotten to him in the second half is 9 points for 32 seconds. UCLA scored last night. They scored 51 points. Gonzaga had 49 at the half. So that's what you go up against, Skip. Can you get to 80 points? Can you get to 80 points? Now, Jaquez, the guy that you were touting, he didn't play particularly well last night.
I wouldn't tout him. He's just been UCLA's best shot maker in this tournament.
Well, I don't know, but Eugene was cooking. Now, I don't know, Skip. Look. I'm watching the game, and I'm trying to figure out why Juwan Howard, why you keep putting the ball in Wagner's hand? Skip, he airballed a 3. He missed the free throw. And then that ball wasn't even close. He wasn't trying to bank that shot. And you kept putting the ball in his hand. Can they win? Yes, they can win. Do I expect them to win? No. I got my money. Me and my money, Fox Bet money is on Gonzaga. I gave you the field for a reason. Gonzaga, you see Jalen Suggs, I'm going to hand him a triple-double.
Yep.
See what he did? Oh, Timmy. I think, you know what? I might, if represent old Timmy, I might try to grow me a quick beard.
Really?
Stash. I might try to get me a little stash going on right now.
Let it fly. I like it.
Yeah, I might do that. I might come here Monday. No, Tuesday.
It's funny how you had to back into your re-prediction of this by saying anything can happen. Anything will not happen in this game.
Oh, so you give it up now?
Well, no, I'm just saying we're talking about UCLA versus Gonzaga.
Right.
It will be a mismatch of a rout. It will be over in about 3 minutes the way the USC game was over. And already, what are they?
They're 13.5.
I got 14, 13.5 on Fox. Is that Fox Bet?
That's when it came up. I saw it last night. It came on the television, so I don't know if they use Fox Bet.
I was seeing a consensus of minus 14 for UCLA today. I'm going to start with your Zags first before I get to the UCLA game. To me, the performance by USC last night was the worst performance by an LA team since LeBron James' first year with the Lakers.
Oh, no.
Remember the blooper reel? I won't bring it back.
There you go, Skip.
I'm going to respect you today. I won't bring back the blooper reel just yet. It still exists somewhere in our control room right now, and somebody's got their finger on the button as we speak.
Yeah, we won the chip. They should have been gone. The blooper reel should be done away with.
So the point was, I believe that USC actually came in a little overconfident last night because they are much taller, longer, stronger, and more athletic than the Zags are. And I think they came out thinking, we're about to show you what real basketball is all about. And I believe that Drew Timme, who is projected to be like a mid-second round pick at 6 feet 10 inches tall out of J.J. Pierce High School in Dallas, Texas, North Dallas and Richardson, I believe that Drew Timme came out and said, I am going to terrorize Evan Mobley, who's projected as we speak to be the second overall pick in the draft at 7 feet tall. And Drew Timme came out and was out of his mind. And if we could see what he did in the first 5 minutes of this game, he stole the ball 3 times, Drew Timme did. 3 straight steals within the first 5 minutes by a guy who's 6 feet 10. He's out of his mind. Here you go. He's Jackie Moon, right?
Woo, yeah.
Jackie Moon. And here's another steal. Look at this. This is 6 feet 10 inches tall, and he's running the break. And he came out playing possessed to say, okay, Evan Mobley, watch this. And watch this, and watch this. And the Zags were simply playing harder and smarter, a much higher IQ level of basketball on offense. Their cuts and passes are just supreme. It is just clockwork, textbook, just take you all apart.
They put the Hoosiers on them, Skip. You know who they're back.
They did. You want to talk about back doors? There are more back doors in that offense than in a mansion, right?
Jeez.
Yeah, and I thought USC came in, I read the stat, ranked 4th overall nationally in defense.
They were. Yeah.
I think I misread that. I think it was 444th they were ranked defensively because that's what they looked like last night. They led the nation, did USC, coming into this game in block shots, and they blocked a grand total of 0 shots. Evan Mobley had 0 blocks last night because they were beaten to the rim so quickly and completely that they couldn't even contest the shots. It was a layup drill. It was just complete evisceration and surgical just devastation. And it was over so fast that it was hard to process the fact that the truth was I didn't actually think Gonzaga played that great. In the second half, they didn't play very well. And you were ranting and raving about Kispert, who's probably their best scorer.
He is.
And he went 6 of 19 in this game, and it was a mismatch. 6 of 19, 3 of 10 from 3. Well, if he makes some shots, obviously, against UCLA, it's going to get over very quickly. So, again, I was highly impressed. I didn't think they could do that to USC. I thought that at least USC would make them sweat. USC did not make them sweat, except for the first 3 minutes of the game when they were just playing ferociously hard on defense, and USC basically quit after that. Not because they wanted to, they just knew they were
overmatched.
They were just overmatched.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised, Skip. I'm surprised it got that quick because I looked up and it was already 25-10. And I was like, We only like for 4 or 5 minutes in the ball game, and it's already 25-10.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't think this is going to end well for you guys.
Yep.
Skip, the question is, who do you see remaining? I don't see really anybody remaining but Baylor, because Baylor got 3 or 4 guys, Skip, that can take you off the dribble.
Yep.
That can get to 80. You got to get, who can get to 80? Can UCLA get to 80? I mean, they've gone to basically had 2 overtime games and they won by 1. So they're really skating on borrowed time, Skip.
Yep.
They're going to have to play a lot better than they played the previous, because they went overtime against Michigan State, they went overtime against Alabama. They're going to have to play way above their heads in order to give themselves a chance. Now, 13.5, 14 points, I think it's going to be by at least double digits, but this thing could be 20. Because Gonzaga is really that good, Skip. The way they move the ball, they don't have to rely on the 3. They didn't shoot the 3 well either. They were 7 of 21. They're a good 3-point shooting team. But when they get their top guys playing well, you're really up against it. And that's the question. Now, UCLA, they clamped down last night on Michigan. I don't know if they clamped down on Michigan because Michigan made 3 of their last 11 shots. And some of those shots, Skip, look like, hold on. This is for a chance to go to the Final Four. Shorter. It's the shortest one yet.
It happened.
He's giving I mean, the guys got really, really shaky.
I agree.
So I don't know if it was the moment for Michigan or UCLA's defense got that good. But we're going to find out just how good their defense is against Gonzaga, because this is the best offensive team in college basketball right now.
Okay, remember, Corey Kispert is a senior, so he's been there. So usually in this tournament, a senior will prevail in the end because he's just a man among boys. He's just been doing this a lot longer than the one-and-dones have been doing this. Jalen Suggs is a freshman, but he is arguably their best player.
He's probably the top 5 player.
Yeah, probably, but is he going to be a dominating pro basketball player? I don't think so. So they don't have, like, a projected superstar on this roster.
No. They don't have the rosters that normally, when Duke reaches the Final Four, Kentucky reaches the Final Four, North Carolina, they got lottery picks. They got a Karl Anthony Towns, and they got all these guys. They don't have that.
And by the way, last quick point on Jalen Suggs before I go to UCLA. Davion Mitchell, he's the point guard for Baylor, and he's the best perimeter defender to me in pro basketball and in college basketball, will cause Jalen Suggs some problems. So we'll see. That's going to be the matchup of the tournament if Baylor can get by Houston, which is also no sure shot because Kelvin Sampson can flat out coach basketball.
Well, Davion Mitchell better not get in foul trouble.
Well, he picked up
3. He played.
That's how Arkansas got back in the game, because he was watching.
If he gets in foul trouble, they will never be in the game.
I got it. Now to UCLA. UCLA, despite coming from a vintage tradition program, just tradition racked all the way back to Kareem, and who was then Lou Alcindor, they are vintage March Madness to me, because they're a March Madness creation. As I always say about this tournament, it's wildly exciting, sometimes for all the wrong reasons, because sometimes you just get all the breaks. Sometimes you're playing Alabama, which is better than you are, and Alabama makes 11 of 25 free throws, and you get 2 bad calls down the stretch, and you advance. Right? And all of a sudden, UCLA has caught fire. But if you look back at their last 4 games, 3 in the regular season, 1 in the conference tournament, what happened in those last 4 games? They lost all 4 of them. Coming into this tournament, they had lost all 4. Would you believe they fell behind, UCLA did, with about 2 minutes left in the first half against Tom Izzo's Michigan State in the, what we used to call the play-in game, the first 4 game? They fell behind by 14. Remember Izzo versus the player?
Right before the
Well, it was because Hawkes came down and he hit a wide-open 3 to cut it to 11 at halftime. But UCLA would not fold in that game and use that game as a launching pad to all of a sudden, here they came. They beat BYU by 11. They got to play Abilene Christian, beat them by 20. They beat my Alabama by 10. And here they came up against a much bigger, taller, obviously, Michigan team last night. And they got out-rebounded 38-28. And what happened? Well, as you pointed out, all of a sudden, Johnny Juzang just went off. He just went off, and I don't know why, but he went so off that all the way to the 17-17 mark of the second half, 17 minutes left in the second half. Remember, he'd already scored 21 points at that point, and he turned his ankle, which has been a problem for him all along, and he has to sit for a couple of minutes over in the tunnel, and they lost their momentum, and he lost his heat, right?
Yep.
And he scored 7 the rest of the way and missed a big free throw at the end that could have maybe clinched it for them. And the point is, he winds up with 28 points, and they score a grand total of 51. He scored 28 of their 51 points. Well, to me, as you point out, Jaime Jaquez has been their designated scorer, their hot hand during this tournament. And what if I told you yesterday he's going to go 1 for 6 and misses 1 3-pointer at the end of the game that could have been a big shot?
4 points.
Yeah, he scored 4 points. But look what else he did. He had 6 rebounds, he had 3 steals, and he blocked a shot.
Right.
And he was playing his tail off on interior defense against much bigger people and just keeping them away from the basket.
Well, let me ask you a question. So UCLA playing some heck of a defense on the free throw line because the two teams, the last 2 games, they're 17 to 36.
Yep.
Skip, you make...
It wasn't quite so bad last night. It was mostly bad Alabama.
Well, Skip, it still was
6 of 11.
Yeah, 6 of 11.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, I got it. Sometimes it's just madness. It's just you happen to be at the right place at the right time. But are they even in Gonzaga's league?
No.
Well, again, if you look at the close of their season, they lost at Colorado by 9. Then they lost at Oregon by 8. And then they lost to USC on a buzzer beater at the end of the year. And then they go into the conference tournament and they lose in overtime to Oregon State, which had to win the conference tournament just to get in the tournament. Okay.
Right.
So how do you go from losing your last 4 to going into the first 4 to suddenly
the Final Four,
to go all the way to the Final Four? It's impossible. And the first team.
That's a bunch of 4s, Skip. So it might be 4-4-4.
I don't know, but
I'm gonna play that number today.
First team since VCU in 2011 to go from first 4 to Final Four. Whew.
Yeah, I don't know, Skip. They got their work cut out for them. If they're not careful, Gonzaga will roll by 20 plus.
I would agree. I think they will roll by 20 plus.
Yeah, but that's the start of my run of my do-back. Start of my run of my do-back.
It's over. I'm not going to concede, but
don't do that. No, don't do that. Skip, don't do that. Skip, don't do that.
Over.
Why are you trying to burn the money, Skip?
It's over.
See, I know what you're trying to do.
Way to go. Congratulations,
You're
Shannon.
not as confident about the field anymore? I mean, I don't know.
No, he's
Shannon,
just trying
to win
The
back
field has
for a
shrunk
while.
to 2.
They have shrunk.
Yeah.
They have shrunk, for sure. Guys, I'm looking forward to getting your thoughts on this next topic. Ohio State quarterback Justin Fields, he turned some heads yesterday when he ran the 40-yard dash in a blistering 4.44 seconds. Among quarterbacks since 2000, only RG3, Reggie McNeil, and our friend Michael Vick ran it faster. So the performance made Fields the latest QB to try to assert himself as the second-best signal caller in the class behind presumptive number 1 pick Trevor Lawrence. As BYU's Zach Wilson and Alabama's Mac Jones have also generated major hype leading up to next month's draft. So Shannon, is Fields right now the second-best QB in the draft?
No, Skip. 4-4 doesn't tell me anything about a quarterback, Skip. I want to know how fast can he process information and how accurately can he get the ball there? That's what I need to know, Skip. Does he know it? Does he know where he needs to go with the football and how accurate can he get it there? That's what I need from a quarterback. I don't need 4-4. I don't care if he runs 6 flat. Do you know where to go with the football and how accurately can you get it there? That's it. That's it. That's what quarterbacks are looking for. Man, that ball got out quick. Man, he knew exactly where to go with the ball. He knew what the defense was. He knew where he was supposed to go with the ball. 1 wasn't there. He checked the 2. 2 wasn't there. He went to his check down. I need you to process boom, boom, boom. That's what I need to know. The guy that did that best was Mike Jones, Skip. If you look at his tape, he has no bad tape. If you think about it, Skip, he might have played 1 bad game in his 13, 14 starts. Other than that, they were perfect. You look at him in the national championship game. You look at him against Notre Dame. You look at him against Florida. You look at him against Auburn, LSU. You look at him against Georgia. There is no bad tape. Now, you got to go all the way back to last year, Skip, Tua. When Tua got hurt and he fell in at Auburn, the Iron Bowl. He did throw 2 pick sixes, but he showed you he kept fighting back. And then he got his opportunity again in the I think was it the Gator Bowl or maybe the Holiday Bowl against Michigan.
Yep.
And you saw what he did to them. For me, Skip, he has the best tape. Is he the best athlete? Maybe not. But everybody, let's not get carried away. And I understand we need some athleticism, Skip, because I believe the offensive line are the least athletic. The defensive line are getting more athletic. So you need a quarterback that can get away sometimes.
Yep.
I believe Mac Jones is plenty good enough. I believe Kyle Shanahan moved up. I believe he loves Mac Jones because Mac Jones reminded him of a more athletic Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
Very accurate. Nowhere to go with the football. Very accurate. And that's what you need. Now, everybody can look good. I mean, can they take Justin Fields and make him look better in this in the West Coast? Yep. Absolutely. Yep. Zach Wilson, absolutely. But, Skip, when you look at the tape, and that's the only, I don't do nothing about no pro day. Skip, what is 4-4 going to do for me? He ain't no wide receiver, no running back, no DB. If those guys ran 4-4, I'm like, ooh, you see that? But the quarterback, he ain't going to be using that. I want to know. I'm going to watch the tape. And when I watch the tape and I watch this kid, I'm going to say, hopefully it lines up. Damn, that kid, he played fast. He ran fast. He looked explosive on tape. Yep. He is explosive. Man, look how quick. I thought he had his footwork was great and the ball came out. It does that. That's what I'm looking at, Skip. I ain't caring about no speed. Now, other positions, man, a DB, wide receiver, this dude look fast on tape. Now, sometimes guys play fast, don't run fast. Skip, let me go back and reevaluate. Make sure the tape is, make sure I'm not overlooking there's something going on. I'm asking coach, was he injured in this game? Because he doesn't look the same. Yep. So you ask those kind of questions. But I think Mac Jones, for me, is the second best quarterback in this field based on what I've seen body of work. We have the least amount of questions. Because there are some games, Skip, we question Justin Fields. The Northwestern game, the Indiana game. We go back and look at the game against Alabama. We got questions. We got really no questions about Mac Jones. We might say, well, that's only 13, 14 starts, Shannon. But those 13 and 14 starts, other than Trevor Lawrence, who had of these quarterbacks in this field, who had a better 13, 14 starts than Mac Jones? Yep.
I got to be honest about this, and I've been pretty good at picking quarterbacks ahead of the draft. If you look at my track record, I'm not completely sold on any of the quarterbacks in this whole draft because I have some questions about Trevor Lawrence, but I have fewer questions about him than anybody else. Right. But when we go to the second tier, the other four, just not sure about any of them. But I'm with you that Mac Jones has grown on me. I kept discounting everything he did because track team of receivers, pro pipeline of an offensive line. And Najee Harris, you know, he's just so good. He's such a safety valve because he can catch it as well as he can run it. He's going to be a late first-round pick. And so I'm thinking, well, could anybody play? Well, not anybody because it's still hard. You still got to make the right choice under fire in the brightest lights that any team played under in this country. And the more I look at Mac Jones' numbers that he put up, he led the nation in QBR by a lot. Yeah, it wasn't close, Gil. It wasn't close. And Justin Fields was second, but he was 4 points, and that's a lot of points lower. Okay, so then I look at the second and the third level stats, and I don't want to get into them, but they all just scream that Mac Jones was legit. So I'm with you, and it just seems like the reason that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch made that pretty wacky trade to me is they think that they're sitting on Mac Jones at number 3, and they're hoping the Jets don't somehow get influenced to take Mac Jones at number 2. Correct. So if they get him at 3 and they got their guy, I'll say, okay, maybe it was worth it. But they bet the ranch on it. They bet the future. The next 2 years of first-round picks will be bet on if it is Mac Jones, Mac Jones. I read and hear a lot of people say that Justin Fields is the real diamond in this rough. He's the superstar that's going to come out of here. I am so with you about pro days, and I've been watching them a lot longer than you have. It is simply the most irrelevant and overrated event in all of sports is a pro day. What does it prove? So he ran 4.44. Well, look, if you can run 4.2 and you're Lamar Jackson or you're Michael Vick, then I say, okay, that's pretty special. And that can be a trait that will actually lift you into MVP discussions, right? That's what happened with Lamar and Michael Vick. So 4.4 is very good, but it's not extraordinary. It's not so fast, and we didn't see him use his leg. You know, it wasn't like he dominated with his legs. We didn't see that. The tape won't show that.
When Mike Vick came out, you're like Mike Vick fast. Hey, Mike Vick is legit, but
and you saw it all over the tape because nobody could control him. Nobody could deal with him. We saw him his freshman year in the national championship game against Florida State, Skip. He was clearly the best player on the field. He was clearly the best player, even though they didn't win the game. They didn't win the game, but he won over America. Okay, he did. Did he? Okay, so I wasn't that impressed with 4.4, and I'm with you. I don't care how he looks in shorts and a T-shirt, throwing to undefended wide receivers that are your guys. They're your guys. Against air, what does that tell you? Well, just the tape don't lie, man. Just put the tape in.
That's it.
Okay, and to your point, Big Ten championship game, I watched it against Northwestern. He struggled the whole day. I know Northwestern was sort of like a Cinderella March Madness kind of a story, and they're playing over their heads, but it wound up 22-10 Ohio State, and he struggled. That it was only 16-10 with 5 minutes left in the game because Justin Fields had a long, hard day.
Right.
And it concerned me. It just stuck in my craw like, really? Are you sure that should be the second or third pick in the draft? And then you pointed out Indiana. I watched all of that game because it became a shootout that wound up 42-35, and he threw 3 interceptions, and they were troubling interceptions to me. And then against Alabama, as you point out, he wasn't terrible, but he just wasn't transcendent the way he was against Clemson. You got me, man. Because that was extraordinary. 6 touchdowns.
We've seen transcendent. We saw Deshaun Watson.
We did.
Against a better Alabama defense than what they had out there. And we saw, we was like, you know what? That dude's special. Okay. I don't care what you say. That dude's special. Skip, the question is, and I understand, last year, not the pandemic season, but the year before, Justin Fields was spectacular. So he has some good tape out there. He does. So is he more that, or is he more this year? That's the question that evaluators are going to have to ask and answer for themselves. Is he more of what we saw his first year starting at Ohio State, or is he more of what we see the up and down, what we saw last year? Those, and only you can answer that, but Skip, you never know what you're going to get. The quarterback is so hard, you're right. Because that guy, you invest in everything. You said you're the CEO. You're the CEO of the company, Skip. But you really never know. The guy can have great film. The guy can have great workout. He can do great at the board. He can be great when the interview one-on-one. Skip, you don't know what you got until you get that guy in your building, put him in your path, and let him go against somebody else. That's all. But then, Skip, it's too late. You're like, damn, he ain't what I thought he was. But too late now, you got it. You bought it. And it's not, as you know, you can't return after 30 days. So until somebody, you're making a blind choice, Skip. Everybody goes, oh, we got this short fight. He a slam dunk. There have been a lot of slam dunks that were blown layups.
I know.
So don't tell me that, we knew he. Even Peyton Manning, but Peyton Manning, but hey, there have been a lot of other 4-year starters that didn't turn out like Peyton Manning. And there have been some guys that only started a handful of years that turned out pretty well.
First-round quarterbacks, historically, way more misses than hits, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that brings us to Zach Wilson, allegedly the Jets pick at number 2. Well, I think, I didn't watch any of the games. I think we both watched Coastal Carolina. And it was a weird game because they just took it on the fly. Against an undefeated Coastal Carolina, who was then ranked in the top 20, to say, well, we need the cachet of going to play them. And it wasn't at their place. It was actually at a neutral site in South Carolina. And they threw the game together, and they had to jump on the plane and fly. So maybe it wasn't premium circumstances. And I'm watching Zach Wilson struggle against them all day. And they lost, and he was 19-30 for 240 with 1 touchdown, 1 interception, at a QBR of 68, which in college is really low. So it didn't wow me enough to say, oh, yeah, that's the second pick in the draft.
Skip, they took the game because they was worried about, because everybody said, well, are they going to have enough games to qualify? Because they were undefeated at the time. And there's like, well, teams need to have X amount of games. So they were just trying to get enough extra game and thought they were just going to run roughshod over Coastal Carolina. But Coastal Carolina had that trap waiting for them.
They did. And it was a trap for Zach Wilson that I don't know if he should be able to climb out of on his draft stock. But apparently the Jets are zeroed in. We'll see if that's just smokescreen. But I'm not sold. I like his athletic ability. He's got a live arm. But there's just something I'm not seeing.
But Skip, sometimes when you look at Justin Fields, you look at the guys, Ohio State really never had a quarterback that's been any good. Especially when you go back to Art Schlichter. He started it, that gambling fraud. And then all the quarterbacks that came after that, Skip, they've had Heisman Trophy winners. For whatever reason, I think Braxton Miller, didn't he win the Heisman?
I don't think he did. Did Braxton Miller? That doesn't
No. The other guy, when they beat... excuse me, Skip, when they beat Michigan in that game and everybody wanted a rematch, and they ended up losing to Florida. Skip, I mean, for whatever reason, they haven't transferred, and so maybe they hold that against him. BYU, with the exception of Steve Young, BYU quarterback Ty Detmer was just okay. Taysom Hill, they ended up moving him to a jack. I mean, he's going to get an opportunity to play quarterback, but for the most part, so are they holding that against Dwayne Haskins? Are they holding Cordell Jones? Are they holding some of these? What's the other guy that just came out that put up big time numbers, Skip?
I thought Cordell Jones was going to be pretty good.
Skip, I did too.
He came and went.
Yeah, 12 gauge turned out to be a pop gun.
Ooh. Well, it's tough.
It is.
Yep.
It is tough.
Yep. Here we go.
I feel like a couple things I got to point out here. Fields, who I was around a lot this season, interviewed him many times. You got to remember he was perfect his first 3 games of the season. He had 11 touchdowns, 11 incompletions, right? And there were a lot of COVID issues for Ohio State this year. You have to at least keep that in mind. Their game was canceled before they played Indiana against Maryland. And then in the Big Ten championship game, he didn't have Chris Olave. And he was also injured. He had a thumb injury that we were reporting throughout the game. I was reporting that. So, yes, we didn't see a lot from Fields. I thought he was impressive yesterday. But I trust Ryan Day and their relationship. And he said, whatever you invest in that kid, you're going to get back. He has the potential to be a franchise guy for a very long time.
Jenny.
So I am high on Justin Fields. I spend a lot of time with him, and I think it's appropriate that I weigh in there, Shannon. I see you grinning.
You think there's a chance that he might play without his number 1 receiver in the NFL? You think he might have some injuries in the NFL?
But you got to keep that in mind when you're talking about his potential and how successful they had been. He was incredible against Clemson. We will move on for now, guys.
No mercy.
Andre Drummond is set to make his Laker debut tonight, starting at center for LA as they take on the Bucs. And now, Bucs is the latest member of Laker Nation to get hyped over Drummond joining the team, posting a photo of her welcoming the new center, along with a picture of her dad, the late Dr. Jerry Buss, welcoming Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to the Lakers in the 70s. So, Shannon, is this a good idea or bad idea for Buss to compare?
Yeah, Shannon, be honest.
I like to look.
Be honest.
Skip, I'm looking at that
Be
picture.
honest.
I'm looking at the picture of Kareem and Dr. Buss, and I'm like, how did he find jeans? Where you going to say, let me get the 3350s, 33 waist 50 NC. But he got on a pair of jeans. Skip, look, I knew you was going to do this.
Well, who wouldn't do this?
No, ain't no. She's not trying to say Andre Drummond is Kareem. Kareem had already won 3 MVPs. Kareem had already gone to 2 finals and won one and was a finals MVP. Kareem was the best player at that point in time and throughout the 70s. He was the most dominant player of the 70s. So, no, she's just welcoming him just like Dr. Buss welcomed Kareem. That's all, Skip. That's all that is. She's a situation where, because she didn't get an opportunity to do that with LeBron. She did not. She didn't get an opportunity. I mean,
why not?
Because, I think that was the time they were going back and forth, her and the brother. Her and the brother were going back and forth. Okay. And so Jeannie, just bided her time in the background, knowing she's gonna be that boss, that queen boss, like she is Queen J. That's what they call her. So that's all it is, Skip. Nobody's trying to compare Andre Drummond to Kareem. That's not a thing. No center should ever be compared to Kareem. Not with 6 MVPs and 10 trips to the finals, Skip. You cover Kareem. You know how great he was. Won 3 MVPs with 3 different locations. That's probably not going to happen again ever. But no, Skip, I don't think it was a comparison. It was just like her welcoming him, just like her dad welcomed Kareem. But he's here to do a job. All Andre Drummond has to do is do what is expected of him. That's it, Skip. He don't have to do it. We're not asking Andre Drummond to go score 30. We're not asking him to block 15 shots. All we ask Andre Drummond, Dre, can you give us what you normally do? Can you give us on a nightly basis? Give us sometime, maybe give us 12 on a bad night. Give us 18, 19 rebounds on a great night. Can you give us 10 points on a bad night? Can you give us 16, 18 on a great night? Sure, I believe he can do that. Skip, do you realize LeBron James got Timofey Mozgov $16 million a year? Now, who would you take, Timofey Mozgov or Andre Drummond, playing with GOAT James? So that's what he's going to get. That's what we're going to turn. We turn Timofey Mozgov into the second best player in an NBA Finals. LeBron did that.
Okay. So, here we go. Like father, like daughter.
There you go.
You know and I know if Jeannie Buss is going to have the audacity to post pictures comparing her father welcoming Kareem into the Lakers fold to her welcoming Andre Drummond into the Lakers fold, it's going to scream, I got my Kareem.
No, it ain't.
Yes, it is.
No, it ain't.
It is so outrageous, this Dre mania that has seized Laker Nation.
Dre Day.
The drumbeat is overwhelming.
I like what you did to the drumbeat.
The drumbeat, it is just deafening to me because it is Andre Drummond hysteria. It is going completely over the edge, now fueled by the owner and operator of the Lakers, Jeannie Buss, to have the audacity to say, hey, I got Dre like my father got Kareem. And to your point, I want to just drive this home to our younger viewers. Remember, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had played his college basketball right here in L.A., right under the Lakers' noses at UCLA. Not, a couple of miles from where we sit right now.
Couple miles, yep.
And while Kareem was at UCLA, all he did was go 88-2. Freshmen couldn't play at that point. So in his final 3 years, they went 88-2. They won 3 national championships. He was the most outstanding player of the tournament 3 times. He was the college national player of the year 2 times. Yep. Probably should have been 3 times. He was the most dominating college force I ever saw.
To this day, he's still the greatest college player ever.
Okay, he's just dominating. He's just terrifying because he was 7 feet 2 inches tall. We'd never seen anything like that coming out of Power Memorial High School in New York, coming all the way to Los Angeles to do this. And it even influenced the dunk rule in college basketball because they tried for a while to say you can't dunk because it's too easy.
Yeah, so he just lay it in.
He would just lay it in. And then to your point, he goes to Milwaukee, and all he did was win 3 MVPs.
In 6 years.
In 6 years. And he did win the one finals in 71, and he was the MVP of the finals.
He lost the next year. I think he lost the next year.
Yeah, and yet he did have that. He had a ring on his resume. Yes. And remember, just for the record, he was a career 70% free throw shooter. Andre Drummond is a career 47% free throw shooter. So you even have that to not hang your hat on. So here we have Andre Drummond, who comes in with a career record in the NBA of 287 and 383. That means in all the games that Andre Drummond has played in the NBA, he's 96 games under 500. Not all his fault. Been stuck on bad teams, but still, he's the flip side of Kareem in Milwaukee. Yeah. Because all they did was just win and win and win in Milwaukee, just the way they had won at Pauley Pavilion here at UCLA. Right. And remember, Andre Drummond played 1 game in the NCAA tournament, and they were favored as an 8 over a 9 seed over Iowa State, and they lost the game. They were upset, and he scored a grand total of 2 points. So that's his one lone game that he played in NCAA tournament basketball. And then he has played in 8 playoff games in the NBA, and he is 0-8, and in those games, he's 20 of 55 from the free throw line. That's 36%. And Jeannie has the audacity, the chutzpah, to use the word you used earlier in the show, to say, hey, look, everybody, I got my Kareem? Is that what you're trying to say?
And she said, I hope he stayed longer.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're going to sign him long-term because you got to do that, right? He could be a free agent.
Yeah, we're going to Skip. He's going to love it here so much. LeBron's going to make his life so easy.
Okay, Jeannie has been swept up in the euphoria of a buyout acquisition of Andre Drummond as if it is, as you keep saying, the missing piece to the repeat championship puzzle.
I tell you, I'll give you a prime example. You remember the buyout? Rasheed Wallace got bought out, and he went to Detroit. Did he change the life of the Pistons?
He was a very good player. Okay? So are you saying Andre Drummond is better than Rasheed Wallace?
Yeah!
Oh, stop it.
Yeah.
Rasheed Wallace could score from anywhere, in any way, any shape, form.
Rasheed is the scorer. Rasheed was a better scorer. Rasheed was a very good scorer. But Skip, this guy going to give us the rebound. We about to win all the... Because what could we do better than everybody else last year? We very seldom did we ever lose the rebounding battle. Very seldom. Because we had JaVale or Dwight on the floor, or we had one of those guys, and then we had AD and we had Bron. Well, Bron got you 8 rebounds last year. AD got you 9, and between those two guys, they're getting you 12. So we're going to win the rebounding battle. Now we're going to go back up there and block shots, too, because you know we block shots, getting AD back probably about another week, probably about a week. End of next week, AD will be back, hold the fort down for another 2 weeks till LeBron come back, and then you know what it is, Skip. Time to make that push.
Okay.
It's time to go win a championship.
Shannon Sharpe, I'm going to say it again. I pity this poor man, Andre Drummond, because he has stepped into something he cannot fathom. He's supposed to start for them tonight. He will start to feel the pressure, the heat, the extreme expectations that have been heaped on him so unfairly because he will not be able to live up to what you are expecting.
That's why God made him so big. He just handled that pressure. 6'10", 280. He said he's in the best shape of his life. He's been spending that time. Yep.
So Drew Timme of the Gonzaga Zags is 6'10", and Andre Drummond is only 6'10", and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was 7'2". 7'2"?
Skip!
What are you doing?
Hey, nobody, listen.
Why are you doing this to this poor man?
Nobody is saying Andre Drummond is Kareem. You can make the case.
She is suggesting that. She is implying and inferring that.
Skip. We've Skip. All she did was recreate was that my dad welcomed Kareem. Me as the managing general partner, I'm the head. I dream of Jeannie. I'm welcoming Andre. You remember that?
You don't really dream of Jeannie.
Yeah, I do. Robert Eaton played.
You literally dream of Jeannie Buss, okay?
Yeah,
okay.
Jeannie. Before Jeannie took over, Lego laughing stopped. You remember that skit? They were laughing. People were laughing at them. The moves that were they played. They still got Lou Aldang on the books. Lou Aldang ain't played in the Lakers uniform in 4 years.
Yep. By the way, just in case somebody missed that, you were talking about the sitcom of the 60s called I Dream of Jeannie, starring Barbara Eden, just for those who don't know what you're... And Larry Hagman, who went on to much bigger fame in Dallas.
J.R. Ewing.
Who shot J.R.?
Skip. I know you don't want this to happen.
Yep.
But all she did, Skip, sometimes we create. You see, okay, I want to do that. I want to recreate that. Okay, all she did was recreate.
That's what you call being overzealous, over-exuberant, crossing the line into hysteria.
Okay, so what? In the next, I think they've got 25 games. So what do you think? What do you think Andre Drummond's numbers will be? You think he'll average a double-double?
I just think they're not going to win the West. That's all I think. He will not change your life.
He's going to change it.
Yeah.
Change our life for the better.
Andre Drummond, who's been on nobody's radar for all of his NBA seasons, suddenly is going to change Laker Nation's life. Really?
We don't be on our radar. We see, that's the thing. Guess what? If that iceberg was on the Titanic radar, they'd have never ran into it. If it was on the radar. See, it's not what you see, it's what you don't see that trip you up, Skip. You see the step right there, you gonna step up. But when you don't see, you go stumbling.
Really?
You about to stumble. Your Clipper about to stumble.
6'10".
Y'all lost to the Magic. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. With no Vucevic, no Gordon, no Fourier. But you want to talk about, we got 4 starters out.
Well, we do.
They had 3 of them out.
All right.
But don't worry about it. Dre got this. Watch him tonight, House. Watch him, House. I got a feeling. I'm going to say he have at least 15 rebounds. You want some?
Who are they playing tonight? Their G League?
The Bucs.
Okay. Oh, the Bucs.
The Bucs.
Oh, the Clippers just dismantled the Bucs the other night.
Well, why y'all dismantle the Magic last night?
Because it was back-to-back.
Back to what they got to do with anything?
Yeah.
That's a G League. Skip, you know our bench beat them.
We've piled up so many wins, we don't need another.
Okay, we piled up so many. Okay, piled up wins. Okay.
No mercy. All right, so some people thought Green Bay would restructure Aaron Rodgers' contract this offseason to give the QB some security as well as create some cap room for the rest of the roster. But that never happened, and now Packers CEO Mark Murphy is left answering questions about Rodgers' status, something he's trying to avoid. Yesterday, Murphy brushed off at least 3 questions about Rodgers' contract, refusing to answer anything about, quote, any specific player. So, Shannon, what does it tell you that Mark Murphy is so routinely non-committal to Aaron Rodgers with the Packers?
Skip, they told me last year. They drafted Jordan.
Yep.
They had drafted Jordan Love. They told me everything I needed to know about Aaron Rodgers. That was everybody else talking about, I don't know what they're trying to signal. I know. You in a relationship, your partner go get an apartment, and you know about it. What is she signaling? What is he signaling? He wants to move on. She wants to move on. They're going to move on. I don't get, 1 minute Mark Murphy said Aaron Rodgers ain't going nowhere. He's going to be our quarterback. In the next minute, well, I'm not talking about a specific player. Well, after the season, you was talking about a specific player. Now, all of a sudden, you don't want to talk about a specific player. So I'm confused. I'm confused with the message that Mark Murphy tries to send when he actually talks. But I'm not confused with the message that he sent by what he did.
Yep.
It's undeniable what he did. You don't take a quarterback in the first round. Trade up to get him. Say, we got Aaron Rodgers. We're going to let it skip. it's confusing to me because when they did what they did with Brett was what? Brett won MVP in 97. They took Aaron Rodgers in 2004. So you're 7-8 years removed. Aaron Rodgers just won an MVP. Aaron Rodgers just won the MVP. And you don't know I don't know what we're going to do. I don't really want to talk about it. I don't want to get into specifics of a particular player. Skip, that's not a particular player. That's not just any player. Skip, that's not an offensive lineman. Skip, that's not the DB. That's not a regular guy. Yep. That's the guy. That's the cornerstone of your franchise. So him not wanting to get in specifics got very specific for me.
Mm-hmm. So in the end, to your point, the undercurrent of this story is that Aaron Rodgers just stuck it to him and won the MVP, and it wasn't even close. Yeah. He ran away with it. He buried the field. Right. He did what every franchise would crawl across the country for its quarterback to do. He won the MVP.
I get MVP level quarterback play.
Ah, wow. Okay. And yet, they don't trust him. They don't believe in him long term. They think it was almost like a fluke that he won the MVP, and they think he is now holding them hostage. Mm-hmm. I said it after the NFC Championship game that obviously Aaron Rodgers and company lost at Lambeau, holding them hostage. They have an Aaron Rodgers problem. It's not an Aaron Rodgers blessing. It's a problem to them that they're trying to figure their way out of, because if you're going to restructure, if you're going to add years onto the contract so that you can parse it out better on your cap, you can take less and less. You better trust that you want that guy to be your quarterback for the next 3 years so that you don't have to pay the piper for him after 1 year.
Right, because what happens, Skip, you kick the can down the road. When we do move on from Aaron Rodgers, now we've handicapped Jordan Love. Because we can't put pieces around him because we got so much dead money on our cap.
Because you'd say, what an albatross this contract was. Well, that's how they're playing it right now. Like, we don't want that albatross.
Correct.
Well, the albatross just won the MVP.
Correct.
So which is it? Well, they're already pretty much in their heads done with him because, to your point, they took another quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Jordan Love. It's another one like Trey Lance. I just don't know enough to know.
I don't know how to Skip.
By all reports coming out of Green Bay, he really didn't get much of a shot in practice this year because we're in a pandemic situation. Right. But whatever shot he did get in practice was not impressive to anybody.
Right.
So I don't know what he can do. We had no preseason, so we couldn't even see little glimpses of him in preseason to see if he had any command for the game.
Right.
So I don't know. It obviously took Aaron 3 years to succeed Brett Favre.
But you talk to people that was in Kansas City, you talk to the players, and they say when you saw Patrick Mahomes, the scout team,
they knew.
You knew.
Okay. You probably knew in one throw, right? One practice, you just said, oh, he's it. Yeah. That's the guy.
Yes.
Okay. I don't hear any of that about Jordan Love, but that doesn't mean he couldn't be the guy. I don't think the first year they saw Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, they said, that's an MVP.
Right.
Because, again, they rebuilt his delivery from the Jeff Tedford Cal program, and it took a while, and he had to sit and wait. That's a long time to wait. 3 years.
But, Skip, with the money to wait now, these guys are making, I mean, you need to know because that fifth-year option comes up so quick. And the fifth-year option, that guy wins an MVP, or that guy goes to a couple of Pro Bowls. And now it's no more, Skip, that $3-4 million that we could see. That's $25, that's $30 million that you got to make an investment in. Like, okay, are we going to do this or are we not going to do this?
Okay. Aaron Rodgers is going on 38 years of age next December. This will be his 14th season as the starter. He got a late start as a starter, so that sort of helped his longevity because he didn't use himself up early. He just sat
So he's
waited.
Almost like a 35-year-old.
You could argue that. But now the cap hit will be $37 million this coming year.
Yes.
And the following year, it leaps to $40 million. Okay? Are you ready for that? Or do you fear that? Or are you dreading that? Or do you want out from under that after one more year?
Well, Skip, what you do is that they probably should have turned this year's salary, this year's cap number, into a signing bonus and put 2 more years on it. And like you said, we kicking the can down the road.
Okay.
But $37 million, that's a huge cap number. You can get a lot of quality players with that cap number.
Okay. I'm convinced, and I've told you from the start, they want out. They got stuck. But Aaron Rodgers in the postseason is not the MVP because too often, since that one magical Super Bowl road run to the championship back, 10 years ago,
right.
He's 7-8 in the postseason since then. He is now 1-4 in NFC championship games. He got his dream come true. I got a home playoff game for the first time ever. We got the Buccaneers coming to Lambeau Field, and you know the rest of the story.
Right.
He was not very good in the fourth quarter. I'm not saying he was awful, but he was 4 of 11 in the. You got
to make that play,
and you got to make one of those plays. Maybe we should take a quick look at him. Maybe you should. Well, we got a second here. We ain't
got no second.
Okay, you get 1st and goal at the 8. Brady converted his, and here's Aaron Rodgers on 1st down. Whoops, that's wild.
Lazard, why you ducking?
What are you doing? 2nd down.
That ain't a bird fly.
I got it. No, I don't got it. Whew. Hi to Devontae. This is it. Third down. Okay, you got to go. You got to go. Run, Aaron, run. No, go. Try to force it back to Devontae at the goal line, and it is double covered over and out. And the young head coach says, I think I'm going to take a field goal here. Really? To cut it to 31-26, you're going to take a field goal. And that was the end of that deal, right?
Yeah. They did a great job. I mean, the Bucs, give them credit. They did a great job. They kind of knew these are the plays they like, and they had it double covered. This is the play right here. Yep. This is the game. This is the game right there, Skip.
You going to run with it?
Yep.
You're going to run with it?
I'm going to pump fake, and I'm going to go for 2 to try to tie this ball game up.
Can you beat those guys to the corner? Who was it, JPP?
JPP and Sue.
Can you beat them to the corner? You would think so.
Yeah. For a chance to get to the Super Bowl, hell yeah. You running for your life.
Would a DB have met you at the goal line, maybe?
Well, he'll have to meet me at the goal line, but I'm going for it.
Okay. Well, that's the game. And instead, he fires it back across his body into high traffic to nobody.
Right.
Okay? And that was basically the ball game right there.
We're in a stare-off.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know how it was else to put it.
But it's hard for him to sell Aaron Rodgers 1-4 in the NFC games and 7-8 since the Super Bowl run in the postseason. It's just hard to sell that.
Well, Mark, I don't know if you remember what the Packers were before they got Brett Favre.
Yeah.
I don't know what you remember what they like. This great.
Well, you do because your brother was there catching passes from the Magic Man, right?
Yeah, and Dill Wig and Mike Tomczak. Yeah, there were a lot of guys that he caught the passes from. So, but they've had 25 years of prosperity since they got Brett Favre in 93, 92 to right now. Almost 30 years of prosperity. You don't want to go back to 70s and the 80s when that thing was real bad.
Unless they're right about Jordan Love.
Unless you're right about, you better be right.
Be real right.
But Skip, Aaron Rodgers was saying something. He was talking. Maybe there'd been some conversation where he didn't seem very certain about coming back. He's like, I don't know what the future holds. You know, we like, well, why are you talking like this after the championship game? And it was reported that, you know, they wanted to do something, and the Packers came to him and was talking about contract extension and all this stuff. So there's something going on that we don't know, but by what he's saying and what they're saying is not good. We do know that. We don't know exactly. We don't know specifics, but we know whatever they got going on behind the scenes is not good.
It is not good, and they are sending loud signals. We're not interested going forward.
Well, we'll give y'all first. Well, I tell you what, Green Bay, since y'all don't want to know Aaron Rodgers, we'll take him up off your hands.
Who?
The Broncos.
The Broncos
take him right on up off their hands.
Really?
Yep.
Straight up for Drew Lock.
Straight up. I tell you, no, straight. We won't do you like that. We'll give y'all a pick. We'll give y'all first round pick and Drew Lock for Aaron Rodgers now.
Okay. All right. The problem I think they're having with him going forward is he's not the workout warrior that LeBron and Brady have been, right? Okay, so you can't really trust how he's going to age. Will he age quickly?
Gracefully.
Gracefully? Will he?
Yep.
I don't know.
Well,
he's always talking about the fingers of tequila or whatever.
He see the green. I mean, he'll probably
always talking about the
2 fingers of tequila.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, Skip, we'll take him up off your hand. We don't want y'all to have the problem. Because I believe he is a problem for you guys. And you guys shouldn't have to worry about that, Green Bay. You should not have to deal with Aaron Rodgers' pettiness. Let us take him up off your hand. The Broncos. You want me to call Joe Ellis? You want me to call somebody?
You should try to instigate that. Would Aaron Rodgers do for Denver what Brady did for Tampa?
No, he going to do for us what Peyton Manning did. That's what he going to do for us.
Well, you should also probably ask Aaron how he feels, Shannon, about that scenario, if he would even want to be a part of the Broncos right now.
Don't you want to be a part of greatness?
Oh, okay.
We win Super Bowl.
Talk to him. Let us know what he has to say, and we'll get back to it. We're going to talk about a different quarterback.
No mercy.
Tampa Bay has accomplished the rare feat of getting all 22 starters back on the roster for next season. And it's no surprise that Bruce Arians is being pretty vocal about how and why they pulled it off. Yesterday, Arians said, quote, "I think they all know the culture and love the culture. I think the camaraderie of that football team, what they went through together with the pandemic and everything else, there's a bond that starts and it's hard to break that bond. They all want to play with each other. It doesn't hurt that they have the money to spend either." As a franchise QB, Tom Brady only counts for the 15th highest salary in the NFL. So, Shannon, it's impressive what the Bucs did. So what is the biggest reason players stayed?
Bruce Arians said it at the end. They got the money to spend. I didn't think it was possible for them to lock up all those players, but Skip, they got damn near market value. So if I'm going to get almost market value in the state of Florida with no state income tax, I'm winning. I get to play on grass. BA takes care of me. I know this offense. I know this defense. I know my role. My role isn't going to change. Why would I leave? Skip, you know in free agency to get somebody to leave, you got to overpay. Just like coaches. When they leave one situation and go to another, it's not a lateral move, Skip. Somebody's offering them more money. You got to blow them away. The University of Alabama blew Nick Saban away to get him to leave Miami. That's the only way of thinking. Think about it, Skip. An NFL coach resigned his position and went back to college. Why? Because Alabama blew him away.
But they were really struggling in Miami.
They were struggling.
He saw the handwriting, like, I belong in college football.
Yeah, but if they say, well, Nick, we want you in college football for $3 million, he'd say, nah, I'm making $5 here. So we got to make it worth my while. They made it worth their while. Skip, also, they're winning. Winning will do that. Winning is a cure for a lot of ailments.
Yep.
And because they won, it's hard for me to say you've established a culture in 1 year. The Ravens have a culture because it starts back to 2000, Skip, and it's lasted. Jonathan Ogden retired, Ray Lewis retired, Ed Reed left, Terrell Suggs left, and it's still the same. We'll see what the culture is like if they have some down years. Tom Brady isn't there. Those good players are no longer there. Then you'll see what the culture is in your organization. Kudos. You did a great job of managing your cap, being able to be in this position, Skip, to re-sign your guys. But don't say it was because of culture. You guys won. And you kept these guys because you paid them damn near market value. It would have been interesting. Instead of Shaq making 18, they try to give him 13, 14. Levante David, instead of getting 11, 12, maybe 13, they try to give him 8 to 9. And we would have seen what would have happened.
Okay. Can you say dynasty? Because I'm starting to see dynasty here.
I used to love that TV show.
Did you?
Yeah, the Carringtons. I loved it.
Really?
Joan Collins and John Forsythe. You remember it?
I didn't watch that show.
You didn't like Dynasty?
No.
Oh, I love that.
I didn't even watch Dallas.
What?
Because Dallas wasn't really about Dallas. It was more about Houston. The truth was.
I watched the South Fork. It's South Fork Ranch.
Can you say dynasty in Tampa Bay? Because Tampa Bay has a quarterback named Brady who will count against the cap this coming football season a grand total of $9.1 million. That ranks 155th in the National Football League. 9.1. That allowed this GM, Jason Light, to say, how about this? How about this? He seemed to have a bottomless pit of a cap because he went all the way down to Fournette and said, I can still do this for you. And Fournette said, I'll take it. I want to play with Tom, and I do think culture does count some. I do think that team had rare fun last year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think they really liked each other. I think they had a good time doing it.
They had a great time.
Listen, the Patriots never had a lot of fun.
No.
Like they would always say, winning is fun. But I don't think it was fun from day to day for the Patriots.
It seemed like in New England, Skip, it's a job.
Yep.
And they say if you enjoy, I think the difference is, and it's a job. Don't ever think professional sports isn't a job. But my grandfather used to say, boy, if you enjoy your job, you'll never have to work a day in your life.
Yep.
New England, that's work. That's fun.
That's just fun. The 90s Cowboys that I covered, Jimmy Johnson, one of the greatest coaches ever, a true force field as a head football coach. Do I think they had fun? I don't know if it was fun. It was hard, man.
Yeah.
It was hard.
Yes.
It's fear factor of, oh, my God, is Hurricane Jimmy going to blow today? But it works, man.
Yes.
So there are lots of ways to do this.
Correct.
But BA got away with being loosey-goosey. Let's go play 9 holes at the end of the day. Bruce Arians.
He had enough veterans in the right position, in the right places, Skip.
Yep.
You got a quarterback. You got a nice mix of young guys and veteran leadership. I think Jimmy felt he had to do that because Jimmy was turning around a franchise, Skip, a very proud franchise that hadn't won in a very, very long time.
A very long time.
Jimmy had to be a taskmaster.
That had gone 1-15, which is why they got Troy Aikman.
Correct.
They inherited the first overall pick, Troy Aikman. So you start from the start with a real chance.
Right.
You got a franchise quarterback. Yes. But then you got to reshape the whole culture in that building.
Yes.
It was fat cat syndrome.
Yes.
Okay, so we get that. But the essence of this that Brady still doesn't get, to me, enough credit for or attention for is he's taking so little money. It's the 15th overall salary among quarterbacks to do this. And so the question for you is, how do his team? You don't think his teammates love that he's doing this for them?
Well, Skip, the thing is, they might like it, but the NFLPA doesn't like it because Brady is one of the reasons that the market has been suppressed for so long because he kept taking less money, Skip. The market wouldn't climb like it was supposed to because Brady kept taking, with Brady this, Brady this. And so the franchise number didn't climb like it was supposed to.
Yep.
And all the other salaries didn't climb because the expectation was, Brady is the best player in the league and he's taking less, so we expect everybody else to take less. Where you get basketball, you get baseball, the salaries climb because Mike Trout is not taking less. Mookie Betts is not going to take less.
Nope.
So that's the problem.
But there's no cap in baseball.
No. But I'm saying, did it help some people? Yes, but it hurt a lot of people. I guarantee if you go back and look at New England, I guess there are a lot of people, they're happy that Brady won them Super Bowls, but they're very disappointed because he kept their salaries so low because Bill told them, I can't pay you more than Tom, and Tom is taking peanuts. He didn't say that, but we know Tom was taking peanuts based on what he's done. Tom should have been making $30 million 10 years ago.
Yep. He earned it.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, if anybody earned it, he earned. You're like, well, what's the going rate? Tom Brady probably probably in 2010, at least Skip 2015. He should have been making $30 million.
Okay, I buy that. I agree. So Jerry Jones in the 1990s figured ways to leap forward through loopholes in the salary cap with the Dion deal where you prorated over a bunch of years, spread out the cap hits. It seems to me that Tom Brady was the first player to sort of leap backward through loopholes in the cap because he says, I'm going to take way less so that my supporting cast can have more. I'm still not sure where the money went in New England. It's like a mystery to me because who is actually getting the money? This is no mystery. This is right up front. On top of no state income tax in Tampa, you can just see where the money is going. And it kept the band together, as Brady said, in ways that's impossible.
Shaq Barrett's making, Mike Evans is a top-paid receiver. Shaq Barrett got paid, JPP making money, Levante David. You still got, Skip, you got still two of your best players on rookie deals, Devin White, Christian Worth.
You do.
So, I mean, they're going to come do it.
And Chris Godwin is on the franchise tag. But he can't be unhappy. He makes, what is it, 14.5?
15 million.
All right. So it's not bad money. It's not probably what he looks at Amari Cooper's making 21.
He just looked at Kenny Galladay. Galladay just got basically $18 million a year. He's like, I'm better than him. I got a Super Bowl, I done been to the Pro Bowl, got a Super Bowl, and he got 18.
I'm sure he thinks he's better than Amari. Isn't Amari the top paid? I think 21. He is at 21. Okay, will that come due a year from now? Yeah, it will. Will they be able to pay him 22? Well, with the cap going up, and if Brady just keeps taking less, maybe. Oh, yeah. The thing is, Skip, I mean, in 2023, each owner is going to get $300 million. So that cap, Skip, the cap could easily be in 2023 $250 million. So as much as the NFLPA, as much as some of his ex-New England Patriot teammates would look sideways at Brady for taking so little money, the joke's on everybody because he's got 7 Super Bowl rings to show for it. So is that not the way to go? Well, Skip, the thing is that it's easy for people to say, well, Brady did it, Brady did this.
but everybody doesn't have the luxury of Brady. Everybody's not going to have the opportunities that Brady has. Everybody doesn't have the household income when you combine the two salaries that Brady has. So Brady can do things. That's why I really don't judge a person's house. Well, they should do this, this, and this, and they should give more. Look, I don't count anybody's pockets. All I'm saying is this. Brady did what he felt was best, and I don't think people should hold other people accountable because of what Brady did. If that's what Brady chose to do, so be it. But I don't expect, you can't expect, well, Mahomes, you should do that. And Deshaun, you should do that. And Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen, you should do that because that's what Brady did. There is no guarantee, Skip.
Yep.
What's the likelihood of another quarterback winning 6, 7, 8 Super Bowls? Hell, forget winning, getting to 7 Super Bowls.
It's impossible. It's not going to happen again.
Yeah.
And maybe in the end, as you suggest, Brady has an unfair advantage in that he has independent household wealth that most, I'm not sure anybody has this kind of independent wealth.
No.
Unless they got born into it, but it's rare, right?
Right.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's, but for him to still want to, after, like Giselle says, babe, what is you have to prove? And for him to still feel, I still got to prove I can do it. I still got to prove I can do this better, longer than anybody's ever done it, or anybody thought I could do it. That's what he has to prove. And that's what gets him up out of the bed every morning, Skip. So kudos. Look, I don't know how they did it. I don't know. Maybe they got the Fountain of Youth down there around St. Augustine and in Tampa. So maybe they got some money down there somewhere. Maybe they find a Pizarro's treasure or something, Skip.
You know why Brady keeps doing it? Because it's just fun.
Yeah, what is he going to do,
It's
Skip?
fun.
What else do you see Brady doing? He don't like golf that much to play every single day.
Like your brother plays golf every day.
Single day.
And after a while, you just get golfed out.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's he going to do?
It can't scratch your itch the way this can.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I see him as an analyst either. I feel like I don't see him, being critical in that kind of sense. So he's going to keep doing what he's doing because
he should.
Like you said, Skip, it is still fun, and it's fun when you're still winning. No mercy. Saturday, MLB is back as the Braves face Bryce Harper and the Phillies. Then Mookie Betts and the reigning World Series champ Dodgers take on the Rockies. Coverage begins at 3 p.m. Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. So even though Carson Wentz is gone from Philly, Jalen Hurts may not be the long-term answer either. A recent report said that the Eagles are still unsure about the young signal caller, and there's not a consensus opinion about him in the building. Now, some are speculating that Philadelphia, who traded down to the 12th overall pick last week, should go all in with Hurts this year to see what they have in a full season and return to the quarterback market in next year's draft if they're unhappy with him. Shannon, is Jalen Hurts the long-term answer for the Eagles?
Skip, you just traded the guy that was your franchise quarterback in Carson Wentz. You traded him away. Shouldn't you know if you have your guy? Green Bay traded Brett Favre. They knew they had their guy. Most teams, when you move on from the guy that's been the guy, you're pretty certain that you have your guy. You're uncertain? Skip, all I'm saying is this. I did not see enough from Jalen Hurts to convince me that he's the guy. Because I look at his completion percentage, he only completed 52% of his passes. Had he qualified, that would have been by far the worst in the NFL. His turnover ratio would have been far the worst in the NFL had he started enough games. His Skip, I just don't get it. He turned the ball over 6 times in 4 games. That's not good, Skip. So I'm trying to figure out, what did you see? Yeah, he did some good things, but did you see more good than more bad? He scored 17 points against a bad Dallas team. It's 7-20 with the interception in Week 17 against the Washington football team. It's just going to be tough with this roster. Skip, if you think this roster, we'll look at what he's throwing to. Yeah, that's what we tried to tell you about Wentz. I'm not saying Wentz is the greatest thing since sliced bread, but he was throwing to the same guys that Jalen Hurts were throwing to, and Wentz's numbers was better than Hurts's. But they said he was terrible. But somehow you think this is the guy you're going to move forward with? And when you say you go all in with Jalen Hurts, what does that mean, Skip? We stockpile, okay, we go Jamar Chase. I don't know if he's going to be there. You go Devontae Smith. What do you mean when you say you go all in? What are you doing? That means we go a receiver. We go a receiver, running back. Well, what does that mean, we go all in with Jalen Hurts this year? Well, considering the move that you made, you better be damn certain. But I'm telling you what, He better be, because just like they got rid of Dougie P, Howie Roseman, you next. You next, Howie Roseman.
Yep.
Because all this guy, you written all over it.
Okay, I want to get you on record right here, right now.
Okay.
You were a huge Carson Wentz fan.
I am.
He flamed out for whatever reason.
He had a better year than Jalen Hurts.
He will now be in Indianapolis playing for his former coordinator or offense quarterback coach, Frank Reich. And I want you on record about Jalen Hurts. Are you saying he's a swing and a miss for the Eagles? Are you saying he will fail this year for the Eagles?
I'm saying Carson Wentz will have a better season, statistical season, than Jalen Hurts.
Well, who will have the better team? Well, obviously Carson Wentz will.
Why? No, it shouldn't matter. Jalen Hurts is the guy. If Jalen Hurts is the guy, what you said he is and what they believe he is, what does that matter?
Okay, so I need you on record. Is he a bust? Jalen Hurts, will he prove to be a bust?
No, Skip, I don't think he's going to be a bust, but I don't think he's going to be, I mean, he's a second-round pick. If he's a top-5 pick quarterback, yeah, he's going to be a bust. I think he'll be a middle-of-the-road, average quarterback.
That you'll be looking to replace quickly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I do not.
Okay.
You can look it up on my timeline. As soon as they picked Jalen Hurts, I immediately tweeted, he will play quarterback better than Carson Wentz ever played quarterback. I can't do it in a vacuum. If I take him to the combine, Carson Wentz will beat him at the combine because he's 6'5", big arm, throw it through the wall, he'll run through brick walls for you. I get all that. I never liked him as a performer, as a guy who could play the position, and I think he will continue to struggle even under Frank Reich back with his security blanket and the assistant coach, what's his name, Press, whatever his name was, that he got so close with. He's there now, so he's back in his comfort zone in Indianapolis, and I still think they will be looking to replace him sooner than later because I don't think he has the command of the position that even Frank Reich will hope that he can reteach him in Indianapolis. Okay. Jalen Hurts, he is a leader, number one. He is a playmaker, number two. And in the end, he is a winner. And that's what will be proven out in Philadelphia. It's a little bit Tebow-esque because you can throw all the bad numbers you want at me. We'll start this year counting wins and losses, W's and L's for Jalen Hurts. And I believe very quickly he will turn Philadelphia in probably, we both agree, worst division in pro football. He will turn them into a dark horse contender in that division. And they will either decide the division by beating teams down the stretch to knock them out of the lead in that division, or it would not even shock me if they rose up and won the division next year. It would not shock me because he's that good at what he does.
The Eagles?
Yeah.
Win what division?
Win the NFC
Division
East.
1 AA?
Nope. NFC East. It's what he did at Alabama. No. They made a mistake going in a different direction.
No, they didn't, Skip.
They did not.
Skip, let me ask you a question.
Yep.
He had Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs. Why couldn't he throw for 30 touchdowns in the season?
Okay, well, you can ask that about Tua. You can ask that
Tua
about
threw for 40.
Okay.
Mac Jones threw for 40.
Okay, but Tua made mistakes, and Tua got hurt like crazy. And Tua will not last in this
Let
league.
me ask you a question. Who came off the bench and won the game against Georgia after your guy? You told me your guy. Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts came off the bench against Georgia in the SEC championship game.
Tua came off the bench in the national championship game.
Well, that was his first, when he had his coming out party.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Jalen Hurts had been a starter, Skip. So him coming off the bench.
Jalen Hurts never quite got over that. And where did he wind up? He wound up with the Oklahoma Sooners, and all he did was set records for the Oklahoma Sooners.
Skip, and guess what? When he got to the championship and when he got to the big bowl game, what did he do? Right on cue. Right on cue.
Well, he still played very well and put up big numbers. And he had one receiver. He didn't have five. He had one. And it was CeeDee Lamb or bust, and he was getting triple covered.
Rambo.
Oh, stop.
Oh, you don't like Rambo now, but he was...
Oh, he was just a guy. He's just another guy. Well, he's not a... Did he go in the first round? No.
So now you got to... Mike Thomas didn't go in the first round. Devontae Adams didn't go in the first round. There are a lot of guys that didn't go in the first round. That's great receivers.
Jalen Hurts can play. Jalen Hurts can lead, and he will start changing the culture in the Eagles' locker room.
Why didn't he change it last year when he got in there?
Well, because he was a rookie getting thrown in with a terrible team down the stretch and a lame duck coach who was on his way out.
We didn't know he was on his way out.
Crazy.
Well, he might be on his way out because of the move that he made. That might have what got him out. But Skip, you can tell me with what you saw that you're convinced that Jalen Hurts is the guy based on what you saw.
I am. I'm convinced. Well, I need you on record to say he's a bust.
Skip, he's a second-round pick.
So? Brady was a sixth-round pick.
Yeah. So if Brady wouldn't have panned out, was he a bust? We don't label quarterbacks taking in the second, third, fourth, fifth round bust.
Well, will they replace him after next year? That's the question. Will he be gone after a year?
No. He has to get them to a Super Bowl. He has to play. I believe they do. I believe they do replace him.
After
I believe
a year.
they do.
Okay, Shannon Sharpe, on record, this will be his
second year.
His first and last year as the starter for the Philadelphia Eagles from wire to wire.
It doesn't mean he won't start. Might be a starter, become a starter somewhere else. But Skip, what you believe he's going to be, a team that can lead team to division titles and get them to the next level. Because what are we talking about, Skip? All that other stuff we're talking about. Teams are looking for quarterbacks that can get us to come out here and play on February 13th in 2022.
Yep.
Super Bowl. Can he do that?
Yep.
Okay.
He can. Okay. I mean, obviously, he's going to need some help to do it, but he...
Why? Didn't give Carson Wentz no help? Why he need help now?
They didn't give him any help?
Yeah, what help? Where's Alshon? Where's D-Jack?
Well, they went and won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles, so Nick Foles had a whole lot of help, didn't he?
So those guys that hit at Super Bowl, Torrey Smith was gone. Alshon hadn't played well since then.
Yep.
What about all those other guys? Look at Peters was hurt. Brooks was out. Lane Johnson was out. All those guys, Zach Ertz missed time last year. Some of it was injury, some of it was maybe contract. Those guys, that team that they took to the Super Bowl and won, looked nothing like what it looked last year.
I'm on record. I told you you were wrong about Carson Wentz, and I will be right about Jalen Hurts.
Skip, I'm trying to figure out how I'm wrong. He has just as many division titles as Dak. But Dak is now all of a sudden you saying Dak is Mahomes. What did I miss?
Mahomes.
What did I miss?
Paid almost as much as Mahomes.
Okay, he got paid as much as Mahomes. He has the same number of division titles as Carson Wentz.
Okay, so he got one in which he didn't finish the season, and he's played.
But they had already run. They had enough of games.
But it took Nick Foles. Carson Wentz would not have carried them to the Super Bowl.
Maybe they don't win the Super Bowl, but they already had enough wins stockpiled. They were going to win that division.
Okay.
But let me ask you a question. Let's just say, because we saw what happened with Dak when he didn't have Amari. So imagine, switch roles. We're going to put Dak in Philly with that talent. We put Carson Wentz in Dallas with that talent. You think Dak Prescott outperformed Carson Wentz?
Which year?
Any year.
Yeah, Dak is just better than Carson Wentz.
Any year.
He's just better. He always was better.
He had better talent.
I told you that from the start.
He had better talent. So he had always had the better talent. Why haven't Dak got them to the Super Bowl? Somebody need to answer me that.
Well, I need him to do it this year.
No. He had other time. He had 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, got hurt. Okay, so the previous 4 years, I need to know with all that talent, why didn't he get them to the Super Bowl?
Well, I need to know how Walk It To Him walked all the way to Indianapolis, because they just said, we're done with you. And they ate, what was it, like $39 million in cap?
What did he do?
Money?
Just like Tampa, just like Brady.
Oh, he
got on a jet and flew down to Tampa.
Do we have some due on that? I will bet you 10 cases right now that Carson Wentz does not win a Super Bowl for the Indianapolis Colts.
That's not the Skip.
I'll do it. I'll do it right now.
10 cases?
They might win the division. They win the division next year.
Well, I would hope they win one in that division.
Tennessee's in that division.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. They just unloaded everybody.
They got Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, they
well,
do.
You got Walk It To Him or Bounce It To Him.
He's been posting lately. A different team who needs to figure out their quarterback situation, the Jets. Should they give Sam Darnold one more year instead of rebuilding with a rookie quarterback? Stick around for this.
No mercy, no mercy, no mercy, and I won't back down, and I won't back down.
Well, most signs Headlines point to the Jets drafting BYU quarterback Zach Wilson with the 2nd overall pick. There's still a chance that Sam Darnold returns to get one more crack at the starting job for New York. Darnold has been underwhelming for the Jets since being drafted 3rd overall in 2018, never throwing for more than 19 touchdowns and never playing more than 13 games in a season. So, Shannon, in your opinion, what should the Jets do?
Well, they should give him another chance just because he had to spend like a couple of years under Adam Gase, who's terrible, because he convinced us that Ryan Tannehill couldn't play. And then Ryan Tannehill goes to Tennessee on the Arthur Smith offense, and he looks great. Skip, I like Sam Darnold. I just think they need weapons around him. Skip, they let Robbie Anderson go. Robbie Anderson goes to Carolina and puts up 1,000 yards with 7-8 touchdowns. He could have done that. I mean, like, I can see if you got Julio or you got Adams, you got Stephon Diggs, but I'm looking at your receiver core. You're not in position to let guys go that are talented. And they didn't surround him with anything. If you think you should go all in with Jalen Hurts, I definitely think you should go all in with Sam Darnold. I would trade that 2nd pick, parlay that, get me some more picks, because you already got 2 first-rounders this year. You got 2 first-rounders next year. You might, obviously you switch with someone this year, Skip. You could have 3 first-rounders next year and 2 the following year. So for me, Skip, I would do that, because I think I like him. I just think Adam Gase was terrible. He's been terrible in his job. No guy has gotten more off of coaching Peyton Manning than that guy. Because, Skip, you remember, even though when he left and went with John Fox to Chicago, he coached Jay Cutler, but Jay Cutler been terrible for a long time, so I can't even put that on Adam Gase. Jay Cutler was just terrible to begin with. But everybody was talking about Zach Wilson's pro day. He made a throw, Skip, where he faked to his right. Well, it was a quarterback, it's his right. He fakes, and he rolls, and he makes this throw right here. Look at this, Skip. I've never seen a throw like that. Now, he's in shorts and T-shirt, right?
Yep.
He's looking at Skip. Woo! Man, I've never seen a throw like that, Skip. I've never seen one like that before in my life. And then I was like, hold on, wait a minute. Look at Zach Wilson. That's opens his hip, throws the ball like 50 yards down the field. Boom, right on target. And then I happen to see, and let me hit the other one. Now, this is what they talk about. Ain't nobody there. Watch this, Skip. I ain't never seen a throw like Zach Wilson just made. Nobody's ever made a throw like that. Oh, until they just did. Now, he did that under duress, helmet, shoulder pads, people on him, guy being covered. Zach Wilson makes the exact same throw, T-shirts and shorts. Nobody covered his receiver. I've never seen a throw like that before in my life. Well, you just saw it, and that guy made it in the actual game.
So, here we go again. I was on record before Sam Darnold's draft. No, not buying. Doesn't have the feel for the position to be a star in the league. Doesn't have the command, not the leader. I'm sorry, I remember his pro day in the rain at USC. People were raving about it. I think they gave him a standing ovation, not a ball touched the ground.
You do it.
All right, way to go, Sam Darnold. But I look at the stats, and I give you bad team, bad coach, bad organization. I give you all the above, not enough receivers. We get all that. But still, he's had his moments. The play you showed was a moment. He beat my team 2 years ago up there, 24-22. Dak rallied and fell short at the end. Couldn't hit Jason Witten with the 2-point conversion tie. You were in Denver cheering, and you came in here hoarse the next day. You had lost your voice cheering against my Cowboys for Sam Darnold. I get that. But I look at these numbers. 2018, rookie year, he finished 28th in QBR out of 33 qualified. 2019, 25th of 30 qualified. Last year, 33rd of 33 qualified in QBR. It just screams no, no, no. He's 45 touchdowns to 39 interceptions. Too many mistakes, just like at USC. 13-25 as a starter. I'll give him a break for that because bad team, bad coach, bad organization. Yeah. I'm just telling you, if you go forward, you'll just be you'll have another year of anguish as a Jets fan, and you'll be saying, we just got to take a quarterback next year. So you're sitting there at 2. Right. And I'm not sure. You're in a tough spot because you're damned if you do or don't, because I'm not convinced any of the other quarterbacks are the solution here. And so I'm with you. If you want to stick with Sam Darnold, I think you're just going to prolong the agony. But if you do want to stick with him, you need to just sit there and take Kyle Pitts, because Kyle Pitts is the best non-quarterback in this draft. Okay. Kyle Pitts will end up being more valuable than than 2 or 3 of the other quarterbacks who will go in the top 10, right? Because they will be, I don't know which ones would just be swings and misses, and you'll say, boy, I wish we had that guy. I wish we had Kyle Pitts. You need to do that for Sam Darnold.
Well, if you're going to do that, Skip, if you're going to stay there and take Kyle Pitts.
But if you go backward, how far can you go and still get Kyle Pitts?
Well, Skip, you have 2 first-rounders. Trade that Seattle first-rounder to come back up. Trade Seattle's first-rounder next year to come back up. And so now, Skip, I can get, if you want Kyle Pitts, get Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase, or Devontae Smith.
Okay, whichever is your flavor.
Right.
Whatever,
so if you give him 2 offensive weapons.
Okay, all right, I got it. But, boy, that's a lot to invest in a quarterback. I'm saying no to already, and I think in their heart of hearts, they're saying no also. But is there an answer there at 2? You got to pick the right door. You know, is it the Justin Fields door? Is it the
Mac Jones?
You could take the Mac. You could take Mac Jones, right?
But here's the thing, though, Skip. Okay, we're gonna move on from Sam Darnold. What is Zach Wilson or whomever you select? What's he gonna throw to?
You're in a tough spot. Okay, I got it. But if Mac Jones is what I think he can be, then you just ride it out over the next couple of years, and he's going to take his lumps, and he'll turn into be something.
Well, you better turn him into some weapons, because you got to realize, get Justin Herbert, but look at the weapons. He had Hunter Henry, he had Keenan Allen.
He did.
So you got to give these young quarterbacks some weapons, Skip.
I got it.
No mercy.
The Magic beat the Clippers 103-96 last night to snap LA's 6-game winning streak. And for the Clippers, it was a familiar story as the team squandered a lead in the fourth quarter and let Orlando go on a 17-3 run to close the game. However, LA can point to its depleted lineup as an excuse yet again as they played without Paul George, Patrick Beverley, Marcus Morris, or the newly acquired Rajon Rondo. So, Shannon, how concerned should the Clippers be after blowing another lead?
This is pathetic.
Well, why is it pathetic?
You're pathetic.
I ain't saying anything.
You're laughing at that?
You don't even know what I'm going to say.
You want me to go?
No, I want you to go. I want you to go. Why would you even want to talk after what they did to you last night?
I got a whole lot to say.
Skip.
Say your little piece. Get it out of the way.
You love to use the word. I think the theme of the day has been culture. You talked about the culture that Tampa Bay has. You talked about the culture that UCLA had. You know, the championship that they won in the 60s and the 70s, and just the culture.
And the culture Jalen Hurts will now build in Philadelphia.
And I'm talking about the culture of choking. Gagged again. 16 points against Skip Bayless. Because in clutch time, the NBA defined clutch, the final 5 minutes of the game, a team was ahead or trailing by 5 points or fewer. Your guys, 28th in defensive rating.
Wow.
28th in net rating. 30th in rebounding. Near the bottom in field goal percentage allowed. But I blame Doc Rivers because that's what your guy did last year, the team leader. Kawhi Leonard, blame Doc. Paul George, blame Doc. By the way, where is Paul George? He always hurt. Guess he worried about what somebody talking about. But guess what, Skip Bayless? I told you this. Your guy is not clutch in the time. How did he let this happen? Now, this is the same Magic team that lost to the Lakers without LeBron, without AD. And you were talking about, the other day you came in here, you talking about, you see what we did to the Bucs? Minus this one, minus that one. And just lost to the equivalent of the Succaneers of the NBA, the Orlando Magic. Just beat the brakes off you. You know what? I want to show you something, Skip Bayless, because Skip, this was LeBron. No, I don't. Skip,
we're gonna run out of show.
No. I don't even like to show video. I don't even like video. I really don't. But you forced me to do this. But this is Kawhi. Oh, Kawhi got the ball. Pick it up, Kawhi. Pick it up. Shoot it, Kawhi. Shoot it. Don't shoot it, Kawhi. Kawhi, get the ball back. Get the ball back to Kawhi.
There's the shot. That was the shot of shots.
Watch Kawhi. Watch Kawhi.
Reggie Jackson, get him out of my sight. Get him out of my sight.
Are we playing soccer? Can you bounce the ball off somebody's foot? Ball game.
Okay, it is now my turn. And the point is, you are so threatened by my Clippers that you dare to try to bury them after some Tuesday night game in late March because you know they are coming for you. And you don't know that they have now played 5 games in 7 nights, including back-to-back, after annihilating the Bucs the night before. They said, okay, we got this. They're up 16. They're also down 4 starters last night. There's no Paul George. Wait a second. There's no Marcus Morris. There's no Ibaka. Wait a second. There's not even any Rondo. He's got a groin pull, and he is not ready to play for the Clippers just yet.
Rondo get a groin pull.
And by the way, that means 5 of the top 6 players did not play last night because Patrick Beverley is now the 6th man, and he is the heart and soul of this team, and he didn't play last night. So you have 1 starter and 1 of your top 6 players, and you're in here trying to write them off for losing to the Orlando Magic. Are you kidding? That is pathetic.
So let me ask you a question. So, in other words, when they got this 16-point lead, they had those guys. And then once they got the lead, those guys went away. So how did you get a 16-point lead if you're missing all those guys?
Well, I told you, they're the deepest team in the NBA. And by the way, they're about to get a little deeper because DeMarcus Cousins is soon to be a Clipper.
Skip, I'm asking you a question.
What did I tell you about Rondo? He is just what the doctor ordered. It's Dr. Freud, Dr. Phil, Dr. Dre. Every doctor ordered Rondo, and I got him. I got him. And just wait until he starts setting the table in clutch situations so that Kawhi doesn't have to dribble into a three-point shot or dribble into whatever shot it is, because that's not his game.
But the doctor he needs now is Dr. Neil Elatrosh, the guy at the Curlin Joe clinic.
I know him.
Yeah, I know Dr. Elatrosh also.
Yeah,
and Dr. Bamford and Dr. Tippy, who's going to be my surgeon. But Skip Bayless, you keep telling me, because remember when they did this, they had 3 leads in games 5, 6, and 7. You said they didn't want to be in the bubble. But it's funny. They got these leads in the bubble. When they blow the leads, they didn't want to be in the bubble. Now,
and who was your unsung MVP in the bubble? Rondo. He is now a Clipper. If he had been a Clipper last year, they would not have blown any of those leads. Sorry, they would have beaten your Lakers just like they're about to do in these playoffs.
But they didn't want to be there. How were they going to beat the Lakers if they didn't want to be there?
Well, Rondo would have had them wanting to be there.
Oh, Rondo would have had them wanting to be there.
Yep.
So you guys making all this money, they don't want to do their job. So I got to bring somebody else in to tell y'all to kick y'all in the butt to do your job.
I just overlook all these games without LeBron and AD. I just say they're meaningless to me. I don't come in here and say,
yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Did you see what happened here, Lakers?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Oh, hold on.
I'm not going to be pathetic. I don't need to be, because I got this.
Skip.
I got it.
Skip.
You're in so much trouble, and you know it.
Oh, hold on. Opening night, you came in here. Boom! Drop the hammer down.
Because Pandemic P did a number on you. He went playoff P on you.
Skip it. Opening night? You talk about opening night. When LeBron James lost, it's never a meaningless game when LeBron lose. Only when the Clippers lose is it meaningless.
Well, it sounds like LeBron needs Dr. Elatrage right now,
Don't you worry about that. Don't you worry about what we need.
No mercy.
Guys, LeBron was pretty upfront about how much he loved playing with Steph Curry during the All-Star game earlier this month. And according to a new report, could be interested in playing with him much more than that. Brian Windhorst told a podcast that, quote, LeBron has obviously begun the recruiting of Steph just in the event that he wouldn't extend and that somehow he would become a free agent and that the Lakers would have a swing at him. So, Shannon, could you see this happening?
Stranger things have happened. I don't, Skip. I just think that Steph is going to be one of these superstars that stay like the old guard. But we never thought LeBron would move like he did, Kevin Durant, and we've seen all the major players, the superstars of today, with the exception of Steph and Giannis currently, Skip, have moved on. So to say never, I won't say that, but I think it's highly unlikely. But I would love, can you imagine? Instead of that would be KCP running off those screens, that would be Steph Curry. Cook it up, championships.
So I guess young Bronny was right about his post. All this for the old man that is his old man, right?
Don't do
LeBron?
Don't
Except he was talking about the nuclear buildup in Brooklyn. And this would be the nuclear rebuild up here in Los Angeles. This wouldn't be next year, but it would be the following year. That would be year 20 for LeBron James at age 38, right?
Yeah.
And yet, what is LeBron's motto? Keep your friends close and your enemies closer, because he will team up with his rivals, right?
There you go.
Has Steph not been a rival? Has he not resented Steph's back-to-back MVPs?
Well, was KD a rival of Steph?
Of Steph's?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if they ever thought about each other.
I mean, they played each other in the Western Conference Final. KD just had him down 3-1.
Okay.
And he went and joined him the next year.
Okay, but that was because Kevin wanted out, and they were begging Kevin to come and join them.
Golden State was the only place they had a roster spot for him, huh?
Well, you told me that Draymond went crying into the parking lot. Please come save us.
And Draymond went crying and called him something else, too.
Yeah, okay. Well, he had, and there goes LeBron again. The next thing I know, they're business partners.
But
he calls him the B word during the final.
Like KD.
They're united in business?
But
really?
here's my Skip. I don't know it's possible, given Steph Curry's injury history. I don't know if he turns down the max offer extension this summer in order to say, okay, I'm going to roll the dice with an opportunity to go play with LeBron or maybe go somewhere else. I don't know if he turns that down given his injury history.
He is 33 years of age now, so he would be playing then at 35, and that would be his 14th season. Could he stay healthy? Usually with the guards who play quicker games, that they tend to age quicker, right?
He'd be fine. All you gotta do, hey, don't worry about it. LeBron just gonna just play. Ooh, can you imagine them screens? Set them screens. LeBron just.
You'll still be desperately chasing your, fifth title by then?
No, we'd be, I mean, by then, we'd probably be chasing 7.
Really?
Chasing 7, yeah.
Chasing 7.
Chasing 7.
I got a lot to do against that.
Yeah.
7 rings.
7 rings,
That'd be nice. I like to picture the
That's going to be the name of Bron's yacht. Bron getting the yacht as we speak, Bill.
Skip, Shannon, great stuff today.
7
we
rings.
are back Undisputed at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. The Herd is on now. Have a good one.